Congress's biggest check on the President of the United States is the ability to impeach the President. You now may be wondering, what causes the President to be impeached? Well, according to Article 2, Section 4 of the U.S. Constitution, the President, Vice President, and all civil officers of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of treason, bribery, and other high crimes and misdemeanors. This is what the Constitution says, but let us look at three examples that, especially in regards to high crimes and misdemeanors, because that can be pretty broadly interpreted. The first president we're going to be looking at is Andrew Johnson. On February 1968, the House of Representatives passed 11 articles of impeachment. 9 cited a violation of the Tenure of Office Act and related constitutional grounds. 1 dealt with slander of Congress, and the last article accused Johnson of declaring the 39th Congress unconstitutional. With the resulting Senate trial, Johnson was acquitted since the necessary supermajority was not reached. The next president we'll look at is Richard Nixon. While Nixon resigned before he could be impeached, Congress was heading in that direction. Congress would have impeached Nixon on the grounds of obstruction of justice for refusing to hand over the Watergate tapes during the investigation into the Watergate break-in. Other charges could have been abuse of power, contempt of Congress, failure to pay taxes, and the bombings of Cambodia, which connect back to abuse of power. The last president we're going to be looking at is Bill Clinton. The 2 articles of impeachment passed by the House in December of '98 charged him with lying under oath and obstruction of justice. He was later acquitted during the trial in the Senate, as a supermajority, let alone a simple majority, was not met. So based off of these 3 examples and the Constitution, a president can be impeached for treason, bribery, abuse of power, obstruction of justice, and lying under oath, along with the other high crimes and misdemeanors, which is a very broad term that some of these I just listed fall into that category. Of course, many of you may be wondering, can Donald Trump be impeached? That's probably why most of you were searching about impeaching presidents. Anyhow, well, to be realistic, it won't happen with a Republican-controlled Congress unless the potential charges are serious enough to threaten the congressman's ability to get re-elected if they don't act on them. But besides that, let us look at whether or not there are grounds that Trump could be impeached on. Probably the weakest ground would be potential violations of the annulment clause of the Constitution. In other words, Trump having conflicts of interest, which there appears to be some, especially since he has now fully divested his holdings into a blind trust and has just put them in the hands of his sons. If this was used during the impeachment process, it would be as a tool for the Democrats, as something they would be willing to give up to ensure that the most serious charges make it into the articles of impeachment. These most serious charges will most likely be treason, obstruction of justice, and potentially inept of office. Of those most serious charges, let's look at the most difficult to determine and probably weakest is inept of office, because your political influence could influence, or your political opinion could influence your opinion of Donald Trump's job performance. Democrats are more likely to believe that Trump is inept of office than Republicans are. So if you're Democratic leaning or liberal, you're likely to see that Trump is not carrying out his duties. He's not being able to perform them. But if you're a Republican, you probably are more likely to believe that he is doing his duties, that he is doing what he's supposed to do. Some Republicans I know do think that. Some Democrats I know do think that. In regards to which party more likely to go online. So I'll let you be this here is so subjective that Congress would, or the Democrats would use this as a tool they're willing to give up for these next even more serious charges. So it's unlikely that Trump would be impeached on the grounds of inept of office, simply because, as I stated, political preference will influence your viewpoint on this. A more serious charge, which is a very serious charge that would get Trump, would be treason, as it is directly mentioned as an impeachable offense in the Constitution. This treason, let's go with the treasonous act most likely to be used in impeachment proceedings would be when Trump allegedly revealed classified information to the Russians in a meeting American media was not allowed, but Russian media was. That's how we know anything about that meeting, because the Russian media, and this was all shortly after the firing of former FBI Director James Comey. An excuse used by Fox and Friends was that once a president reveals classified information, it is no longer considered classified. In my opinion, that is rubbish. But I'll let you be the judge of that. Obstruction of justice is the most likely offense Trump could be impeached on, since it nearly got Bill Clinton impeached and probably would have gotten Nixon impeached if he did not resign. Along with it is probably pretty easy to determine, and you don't have the Fox and Friends interesting excuse. Many people, though, feel that the firing of FBI Director James Comey is an impeachable offense. It is not, when by itself. It shows evidence that Trump had fired Comey to stop or delay the investigation into Trump's campaign's connections with Russia that Comey happened to be heading. Then, this is highly speculative, it, it would be an impeachable offense. But the more likely obstruction just the offense that Trump will have to deal with would be that the meeting that Trump had with Comey in which he told Comey that I, Trump, hope you can let this go, referring to the investigation of Michael Flynn's connections with Russia. If that's determined to be true without a shadow of doubt, because all we have is a memo that the New York Times released, so we need that, and I know Trump will never admit to that. So if the memo itself is produced, I think that would be pretty damning evidence. And then Trump will have clearly committed obstruction of justice and impeachable offense. Whether or not Congress decides to impeach Trump will be determined by which party has the majority. But regardless of your political opinions, your political affiliations, write your congressman so that they know what their constituents think and they can act accordingly, because they are supposed to be representing you. If you don't want them to vote along party lines, let them know what you think. I myself have written my congressman. You can write your congressman easy. Obviously, since you're watching this, you have access to the internet. So all you need to do is, if you don't know your congressman, there's websites out there. Where I think actually the both the House and the Gov, the House, the U.S. House of Representatives and the U.S. Senate websites have a way you can look up your congressman. For impeachment, you'll need to focus on the House of Representatives. But if you don't know your representative, you can look him or her up, and then if you go to their website, their House or Senate website, if you're writing your Senate, or House if you're writing your representative, then there's there a place for them to for you to contact them. You put in your name, you can, I think also the address, I don't remember the process, but also like your zip code, especially so they know whether or not you are actually in their district, because many of them will only accept take correspondence from people from their own district. They won't do outside their district. So just so I let you know that. So you can go to their website and you can contact them through that. You can also go to their local offices too, perhaps, and you can write actual letter or call them. Those are things you can do to make your opinions known. If you want to impeach Donald Trump or want to have him impeached, let your congressman know. If you don't want Donald Trump impeached, let your congressman know, because they need to know what we the people think, so they can act in our interest, in the country's best interest, our interest and the country's interest. Those things they gotta factor in. But if they only know the country's interests and their own interests, that's all they're going to judge on. They also need to know the people's interests, so they can use that in determining how they vote. And for more information, I have linked below a document containing links to all my sources, along with a few sources I did not use. I think you'll find these useful, especially if you want to learn more. And you can also do your own research independently of what I have here. There's probably thousands of websites out there. Just pretty much use the standard rules that they would teach you or that they taught me in school. Go for credible websites. That's what they told me in school, so that's what I'm telling you. And if you don't know any credible websites, well, stick PBS is a good site. Good PBS and NPR, in my opinion, are pretty good. If you need some suggestions, and .edus are also very good. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and comment down below. Check me out on social media, consider supporting me on Patreon, and feel free to visit my website and any of my other YouTube channels. Links are in the description down below. Subscribe to my channel for future content. Have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. Have a good one.